right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Friday team call. Excited to have you all on this morning. Appreciate you guys jumping on. We had a great, had a solid week actually, especially given the fact that the last week was Leaders Conference. Several of you were kind of out of pocket going to that. We had a great meeting there, and that was really a lot of exciting things coming down the pipe. And we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a few minutes. But man, never been a better time to be a part of this company and a part of this opportunity with the things that are on tap. So again, excited about our future here. So let's hit some leaderboards. Again, a solid week. We actually had 3 new riders, guys. That's exciting. That is the lifeblood of our business, is new riders. And you know, in business in general, you're either growing or you're dying. And in our business, if you're not adding new riders, you're on your way out. So it's exciting to see these 3 new people put some business up. So congratulations to Robert Jump. 1 application is $341, direct to Jeremiah Nolan. We had Jennifer Baker, 1 application, $354, direct to Brett Applin. And we had Terry Myers, 3 applications, $3,100 direct to myself. So our new riders, awesome to see that coming through this week, guys. So congratulations to you guys. And as we always say, if you can write 1, you can write 2. If you can write 2, you get yourself the start of a business. And just keep adding those applications, and you'll be excited with the growth and results. So let's do some leaderboards for the rest of the group. We had Randy Clark with 1 application, $1,251, direct to John Paul Vetter. Jim Gerling had 2 applications, $1,634, direct to Jeremiah. We had Robert Wakely, 2 applications, $1,648, direct to Jeremiah. Again, Terry Myers was on the leaderboards with 3 applications, $3,100, direct to myself. Brett Applin, 3 applications, $3,584, leading from the front as a key leader, direct to John Paul Vetter. The man himself, Mr. John Paul Vetter, 3 applications, $4,202, direct to myself. Mr. Greg Shapiro had 1 application, $5,787, direct to myself. Greg actually landed a very nice IUL, so congratulations to Greg. It's one that in fact, the numbers don't even reflect everything that he's got going there. They're going to be doing some additional drop in as the years go by. So that's a nice case. Congratulations, Greg. Jeremiah Nolan had 5 applications, $7,380, direct to myself. Solid week. That is an awesome week. The number 1, however, for the week was Mr. Spencer Cushion, also led in app count, 6 applications. $8,522, direct to myself. Congratulations, Spencer. That is a great job, again, leading from the front. Number 1 producer for the week, and he's no stranger to that position. On our agency managers, we had my base shop had 11 applications, $17,896. Jeremiah and his group had 10 applications, $11,004, and Mr. John Paul Vetter, 9 applications, $9,568. So again, a solid week overall, guys. And we still, it's a nice thing about November, it's a 5-week turn-in. We still have 2 more weeks of production to go to really put in some numbers. So for those of you, well, we all are, not for those of you, everybody on this call right now is going for a promotion. Whether it be your first one going from 60 to 65, or you're well up the chain, maybe even looking at agency owner numbers as you get the team going. You know, we're all going after promotion. So this is your opportunity in this month to really, whether it's first month, second month, third month, you know, guys, use this, pack some numbers in. You got 2 more weeks, 2 full weeks. To get additional business in. Now, be very intentional. One of the things that we haven't talked about yet in the month of November and December, I want to touch on it briefly here, holidays. Holiday season is actually a great time to sell, but you have to be very, very intentional about your selling activities, guys. A lot more people off. a lot more people with time to sit down and meet. That's a good thing. But if you don't plan your time, I guarantee you the holidays will blow by and you'll be sitting there without the numbers that you want. So be very intentional. Plan your work weeks around those holiday times. Sometimes that means compressing a little bit more schedule and maybe running more appointments on 1 and 2 days as opposed to 2 to 3 days. Trying to get away a little bit further out from those, from those holiday days. So just make sure you're very intentional about that, guys. Keep that on your radar. This morning we have a special guest on our line, Mr. Scott Mank, the newest 110 with Symmetry Financial Group. For those of you brand new, the top contract in the company is 110, and it takes a little bit of a time and a stretch to get there. But Scott has been diligently working, hit the 110. So I wanted to have him on this morning. Number one, to congratulate him, but also he has a message for this team because you guys were an integral part of him hitting that. So Scott, welcome to the call this morning. Oops, hang on.
There we go, got it.
There you go.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm excellent.
Hey, well, I tell you what, I really appreciate you having me on this morning. I tell you what, you got such a great, this team you have right here, no doubt, is one of the best. The one thing I want to say before I get started was interesting. I had a conversation yesterday with Marshall Whalen, and it's really interesting. This team, Chris Menifee, your team, that really the agency here has really been watched by home office. I had no idea. One thing I want to say about this, especially your team, what I love about your team is just your team, and then it grows into this team. It's just a consistency that we have. Your team is incredibly consistent. The whole entire agency here is very consistent. It's a rarity, folks. You would think, what do you mean by that? When I look through the years that we've been going here, we've had 2 years running an 84% increase in the agency, which anywhere else would be, that's unheard of. In the corporate world, if you're doing 10% that, you'd be almost godlike, But what they had found with this agency is how consistent we are. How consistent. They'll say, we see agencies, they do well, they'll go up, they'll go down. And we'll have our bits of, getting going, and we'll drop a little bit, but then we always tend to do better than what our last better month was. And we have that consistency, folks. And I want to tell you, that's due to all of you. That's due to the leadership that we have on this whole entire agency. And man, every one of you, give yourself a hand, because you're doing such a fantastic job. And what I mean by that is, it's not all about me. Chris knows how I am. This 110 is not me. When I talk about 110, I talk about the team. It's the team that did 110. Guys, you did it. I even told Chris this. We had to wait for issue paid. All the numbers were there. Everything's ready to go, but we had to wait a little bit for issue paid. I told my base shop, I've told Chris, I've told the leaders, guys, if we don't make this because of issue paid, you all still hit 3 months of 110 numbers. You should be proud of that. That means that you're growing. When I look at numbers, I look at them as numbers. They're not dollar signs. I look at them at numbers because I know if these numbers do what they're doing, if you got this consistent growth, if you've got this consistent, what it comes down to is your business is growing. Okay, you might have someone like a John Paul, Spencer, Julia, people who are out there building. I get it, guys. I get it. It seems like it's just this constant, you're moving forward. It's like moving through mud up to your hips. I get it. But eventually that mud gets to about to your knees, and it gets easier. It truly does. But you go through this grind. I've been there. And then things start changing. I know it's going to change for this team. I know it because I can see it in the numbers. And this consistent that we have means that we're going to be growing much quicker than just about any other agencies in this company. And Symmetry knows it. That's the thing. They know it. They've been watching us. They're like, what's with these guys? You know, they're consistent. They're consistent. So what's so cool about this is I'm really literally really the speaking head or the figurehead here. And but you guys are you're the engine. You know, they come to me saying, hey, Scott, this is amazing. I'm like, they are, aren't they? It's you guys. It comes down to this leadership. It shows that what you all are doing works. And what you're doing is you're changing people's lives in this company. You know, there's nothing better. You know, people always ask me, Scott, you know, how did you do it? I was just fortunate enough to find the right people. And maybe they didn't know they were talented, but once they got here, they found out they were. And my thing was, I just work hard. And what I mean by that is, this isn't something that I have to be a rocket scientist. It's something I just work hard, because every time, there's times Suzanne knows this, I'll be up at 9:30 at night in my office talking to someone on an interview. And she's like, Scott, people will talk to you at 9:30. I said, no, I'm talking to them out on the West Coast. But if I don't have that conversation, or if I don't make that phone call, that might be that one person, guys, one person that I might not have been able to change their life. Think about that. They might be looking at something. They could be great at this, but if I don't make that phone call or talk to one at interview, they might go somewhere where they're unhappy the rest of their life. And that's something I've always pledged myself in this business, that I was going to make sure I talk to everybody, whether it's an interview, whether I go on there, which I do, I go on there and I would call resumes. I would go through those. That one person I could change their life. Just think if I never would have called Chris Menefee. I don't have this conversation with Chris Menefee. Y'all might not be here. Or maybe if you are, you're under somebody else. I don't know. But that is so important. And I take that very serious, folks. I truly do. And what I want to say by that is, I just want to say absolutely thank you to everybody. And what I mean by thank you is, it's not thank you for making me at the 110. I thank you for allowing me to now get to 110, to be able to take this next step. And this next step is so important to me. I fought, I've done everything to get to where I am. I know Chris knows, I know other leaders, Johnny, people know things that I'm going to be doing that we're putting into place right now that I've been chomping at the bit. And I figured we probably would do this, November would be a 5-week, December 4-week, January 5-week. So I've talked to my leaders and said, look, guys, I'll probably hit at 110, end of January. Guys, we did it in October. So this gives me a 90-day run early to get going on things that we're going to do in this agency. I want to let you all know, I'm not the type that just because I get to 110, that's a finish line. It's no different than agency owner. It's not. You hit agency owner, you just hit the starting line. With me, I take this 110 as this is not a finale to me. Now I've started another chapter. I'm at the starting line again. And what that means is I'm turning around and I'm going to be working with all of you through your mentor. And whatever your mentor's needs are, or anything that I need to help them with, I'm there. Not that I haven't before, but it gets me in a situation that's much different. I don't have to worry about different numbers. The numbers I'm worrying about right now is yours. And I enjoy that, because I can look at someone like a John Paul, I can look at Jeremiah, and I can say, hey, Jeremiah, what are you doing? Well, Scott, this is where I want to be. This is how it is. It makes me feel like I'm in the game again, but it's with your numbers. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's exactly how I feel about that. But I want to say to each and every one of you, I really, truly do thank you. This gives me another platform that I can start working with all you folks. It also helps me learn more through this process with other people who are 110, or other people that I'll learn more that I can bring back to you folks. And that's what's important. I need to self-develop myself, and it's a consistent, always thing we do. You're going to be doing the same thing. I'm now into a situation where I'm even self-developing more. I do not want this agency to run over me. You got to remember that, guys. Chris knows that. Chris, he works hard. I can't be more proud of Chris. I mean, my gosh, he's done a fantastic job. But he understands too, and we both understand, if we don't keep self-developing, our agency can run over us. It can. And so you got to constantly be building forward. I know a lot of you are brand new. You're out there in the field, you're doing what you're doing, you're in that grind, you're doing what you can do, you're trying to write some business, you're trying to make money, you want to pay bills. I get all of that. But eventually this all starts changing. And how does it change? By make sure you're doing the self-developments. Chris is great with that. If you want to ask him, hey, what's he mean by self-development? What should I read? What should I do? He'll let you know. He'll let you know. There's books that I read in the beginning, Go for No, Mind, Miracle Morning. I mean, books that are incredible that I've read that's helped me through the process. So that's what I do now. But once again, folks, I just want to give you kind of an insight that this is the beginning, guys. And all of you that are on this team right now, some of you that are brand new, you're like, oh, Scott, I kind of understand what you're saying, but I don't. You will. You folks have been here a little bit. Julia, all of you, Jeremiah, you guys will understand. We're out to kill this thing. And I've got goals right now that I've already talked about, where we're going to be by end of 2020. By end of 2020, we should be $1 million a month agency. Why is that important? Because I've already crunched the numbers. And if I know that if we're $1 million agency in 2020, and that is not a pie in the sky because of the team we have, I know that if we're doing that, I know certain people that's been building and going right now on this team will be minimum agency owners. We should have more agency owners by end of year next year than we have in this whole entire agency now, just in that 1 year. And so I know that's the numbers. I'm big on crunching numbers. So I'm so excited about that. And once again, that means if I see those numbers, that means that you all have grown. You've got a better life. You've now got a business that you're proud of. And that's what's really, really important to me. Like I say, and I told Chris this, it's so funny. When I look at numbers, I don't see numbers with dollar signs in front of them. Look, after a while, is money important? Sure it is. I'm not saying it isn't. But you get to a point when you start building your business, it's beyond money. Money is that's the byproduct of doing a great job. It truly is. The numbers to me is what is those numbers calculate as far as the team? What is that helping the team? And I know if those numbers are going up, if I see the graphs on these numbers, how it's going, I know that you folks are becoming successful. And that's what's important to me. And I'm being honest with you. And I know Chris knows me enough. We've been around long enough each other. He knows how I am about that. I truly mean that. If I can help in any way, I truly do. So once again, guys, I'm going to say this again. Thank you so much. It's been, the journey is just beginning again. It's just a different chapter. But what it does for me right now is it puts me in a position where I'm not going to run your business. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking over your business. But I hope that I can be there, and I will be, that I can help through that process, and especially through your mentor. So, but that's really it, Chris. That's really what I want to say. And once again, it's just, keep doing what you're doing, folks. One of the things I was going to say, Chris, I think the word of the year next year, I think it's so important. We talk a lot of is grit. I think the people who make it here, there's so many things you hear all the time. People say, do you have to be this, be that? It's all about grit to me, is have that grit. Guys, you're going to have bad days. You're going to have bad hours. You're going to have bad weeks, but you should never have a bad month. Never, never. I can look back and never have a bad month as long as you're doing the consistency to get through it. And so, but, I know I had a little conversation with one of our other agency owners yesterday, and he wanted me to talk to his team about what it was like starting at 60% to 110. And it is a great story. The one thing I've done going through this process of 110, people ask me, Scott, how did it feel when you hit 110, when you got the call? How was all that? You think you're going to jump up and down, be excited and all that. Literally, I just sat there, and Suzanne and I sat at the table and just talked about it. It's really what happened. And it was so funny because Jacob felt the same way. And it's just more of, you hit that, you get it, but then immediately it was my mind just wanted to go back to work and start getting things going. But the one thing that really happened to me was it was like going through a photo book and just going through what I went through from 60% on up. And guys, I wouldn't change a second. I wouldn't change a second of it. And it was worth every minute, every time I went through it. I mean, there was some great times we went through. I know Chris and I talked about it. I know Chris is, he's gone through some ups and downs. We all go through ups and downs, but I wouldn't change a minute of it. I truly wouldn't. And it's well worth it. And so, and it's still amazing to me, Chris, how fast time flies. It just seems like it wasn't that long I started, and it does go quick. But one of the things, and I'm going to say this to everybody, one thing that Jacob said to me one day, because I am pretty intense and I'm like that. I'm pretty much focused guy. And I think you all are going to probably see a different Scott you probably haven't seen before, because I am such a focused guy. I get very focused. But he told me one day, and I'll never forget this, he says, Scott, do me a favor. I said, what's that? He goes, enjoy the ride. And I think he thought maybe I was just because I'm so focused and I like to get things done and I like to help folks and I do what I do. And I told him, I said, I will, Jacob. I enjoy the ride. I will enjoy the ride. Where I'm enjoying the ride right now is I can sit back now and think back of what it was like. And it's been an absolute thrill. So, and then, like I said, this ain't the end. I just keep moving on. It's the next chapter. So, but that's really what I want to say, folks. And I'm not going to start naming names because I'll be on here for another hour and a half. Just of some of you folks that I appreciate. There's no doubt about it. And Lord knows me, I probably missed someone, Chris, so I definitely don't want to do that. So, but other than that, once again, folks, thank you so much.
No, that's awesome, and it's exciting. I think you mentioned something that we've got to highlight is you came in at 60%. I mean, there was no, it's not like you had a head start just because of background experience, et cetera. And that's everybody comes in at the same level. We've got a lot of new tuning factor today, a lot of brand new people who are at that 60% contract. And, our system's set up, we're really on your own pin, you can get up through 80. I mean, you can give yourself raises every 2 months up through the 80% contract. And then you got to start having help. You got to have people around you. And that's what I love about the system is kind of a balance of, personal commitment, personal, accomplishment, but it is a team sport. And once you get past 80, it's heavily a team sport. Back to the point where, we talk about when you were going for 110 numbers and we were talking about the issue paid, and, somebody asked me, I was like, well, what can we do with the numbers? I said, well, at this point, it's really a 3 to 6 month timeline to make any adjustments dramatically in the numbers. I mean, it's not like, like right now, if you're going from 60 to 65 and you're short the last week, even the last day, you can go out and crank out some business and hit your numbers. Mm-hmm. Going for 110, you can't do that. I mean, there's too many moving pieces, too many people involved, too many numbers involved for you to be able to make that shift. And so I guess my point there is, just kind of that progression that if you're sitting here and you're at 60%, this is your first call, this system is set up with a path, with a journey for you to get to that, that 110 number. And it's amazing that, it really creates or builds, it builds that stamina. If you really, lean into it. I think too many people, want to find the easy road. What's the shortcut? How quickly can I get there without the least amount of resistance or headache? And don't get me wrong, we're always looking for innovation. We're always looking for ways to do business better. But at the end of the day, I love your word of the year, grit. At the end of the day, it's just, good old fashioned hard work.
Yeah, it really is. One of the things I've always told you this, Chris, and I remember one time I said this to you, when I go through this process, we're always, we hire people, you're the running buddies, you've been my running buddy, Chris, and, we run forward. And I've always told you this. I remember one time I was telling you, I said, you know what, Chris, Suzanne gets on me and I say this, but I always feel like the wolf's on my butt. I run like the wolf's on my butt. And I said, Chris, you're the wolf. And I remember saying that to you and you were smiling. And I thought that's, you know, I said that to you in a good way. I meant that, you know, and so, but that's what it is. It's great. You know, I always feel like that. And it's a lot of fun. And it does, it takes grit to do this, folks. You've got to be able to, um, you know, I don't want to use the word, you know, thick skin, things like that. You know, it's just, but what it is you've got to understand this is your business. This is your baby, you know, and in the beginning, that baby's young and it needs a lot of attention and it needs to, you know, you've got to work hard for it. You know, everyone who's had children know that it's like, man, you work your rear off for that, for the baby. That's the center of your life. That's how this business gets, you know, for me, that's how it's been, you know. It just with me when I take on something, you know, not only do I have responsibility with my family and things like that, but I have a responsibility for this team. I truly do, and I take it that way. There's a responsibility there, and so I've got to, you know, this is always the, you know, Chris knows this. I eat, breathe, sleep this. Now, not everybody has to do that. Not everybody has to run for 110. You don't have to do those things. The beauty of symmetry is you can build what you want out of this. And there's no problem with that at all. But with me, I'm just, you know, I love it. You know, you know, what's interesting about it is, Chris, when we first started doing this, I thought it was pretty cool when I hired people because I didn't have to pay for leads no more for my overrides. I thought that's pretty cool. You know, hey man, you know, you know, and then all of a sudden you found out, well, wait a minute. You know, now this thing's up to 4,000 a month, and all of a sudden 4 or 5 months later, you're like, wait a minute, now it's at 7. And you're like, wait, I think I got a business here, you know? And so, you know, that's what's interesting. I run into people like that. They're like, Scott, you know, this thing's starting to take off, you know, and that's how it is. But you've got to, you know, make sure that, you know, don't just let it take off and you think, oh, it's going to go on its own. You know, it's a responsibility, and it's a responsibility that I've really appreciated, and it's a lot of fun. You know, I tell people this. I've got more friends in my 60 years being on this earth. I've got more friends in this agency than I do have outside of the agency, and that means a lot. And 100% of the folks that are on this team, I never knew. I never knew. You know, people ask me on the hiring, I've hired 100% cold market. Everybody that's on this team, I've never met. And like I said, I've got more better relationships, friends on this team than I do outside of that. And that means, that's amazing. That is amazing. And it means a lot to me. And so, but could be because of like-minded people, things like that. I don't know. But that truly is, that is the truth. When we went to the meeting, you know, I was down there where Jeremiah, John Paul, Chris, and I were down there, had a blast, you know, and I love it. I always called it the meeting after the meeting. You know, we get together, we start, you know, brainstorming about things, and it's a lot of fun. I know John Paul, we got to kind of keep him curved, but we're okay with that. But no, just kidding, John Paul. But, you know, and it was great to see folks down there. And I'd love to see more. I mean, I hope all you guys get to the conferences. I hope all of that, you know, I really want to push far, you know, really, really get to see everybody that I can. One of the things I was going to tell you, Chris, I know also, not everything about me and everything, but, you know, I know you're shooting for 105, you know, and that's important. It truly is. You know, you do that in 3 months. I know you hit your first month. Congratulations for October. I know we're shooting for it for November. And it's been a strange November, not just for this agency, but kind of with the company right now. But it happens. You'll get those week or maybe 2 or whatever. But then all of a sudden, I know this team. Believe me, I know this team like the back of my hand. You guys are amazing. It seems like as soon as you know, it's so funny. You guys, you even amaze Marshall and Jacob. Those guys are used to it now. It's so funny how we'll have a month, especially if it's something that we need that month, and all of a sudden we end up, see, it looks like the month, they're like, oh, I don't know. You know, I remember Jacob says, hey, it looks like the team's a little slow. I said, no, don't worry about it. These guys, they just take off, man. I'm telling you. And you guys crushed it in October. I mean, you guys, not, it was so funny. We had the best week in October that last week. $127,000 in a week, guys. Amazed, amazed. You guys never cease to amaze me. You do an awesome job. And by doing that, what happened is now Chris hits his first 105 month. Now we're shooting for this second one. And once again, we got a 5-week, we're pushing hard. So one of the things I wanted to tell you, Chris, to kind of help that out a little bit, I was kind of wanting to do a little contest. I know we did a contest earlier and you guys just jumped all over that. I had to go get a loan. No, I'm kidding. But you guys killed it. And so what I want to do is just do it. We got 2 weeks left. Want to do a little, just a little contest, just a little one. And just to kind of, pay, give you guys lead credit on something you guys doing normally anyway. So what I want to do is here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to do, just for the fun of it, let's do this contest. But what I'm going to have is, I'm going to have it with the guys against the guys and the girls against the girls. What do you think? That'll be fun. So what we'll do is we'll have a little contest with that. So what we'll do is we're going to do this for the next 2 weeks, from now until the end of the month. We'll do this contest, and we're going to have the ladies against themselves and the guys against them. I'm even thinking, even maybe having even who the top person is out of the two. We can even do that. But what I'm going to do is, Chris, I'm going to have this. I've already got most of it put together. But we're going to have the guys against, we're going to have guys and girls. And then what we'll do is I'll send out the information to you, Chris, so you can get that out to everybody and what the numbers are and what you need to do. And so, but that's what we'll do, guys. We'll push it we'll get November pushed hard here this last couple weeks and have the guys fight it out and have the ladies fight it out and see what we can get going here and have a lot of fun with it.
Sounds like fun. That's going to be a new twist on. I don't think we've ever done anything like that before. So I'm
no, hey, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So what's the prize? I missed it.
Well, I can't tell you that. I got to figure out which car I'm giving away. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Hey, I'm hoping if this guy's giving away his Hummer, I'm back in. I'm on the phones this weekend.
Yeah. But no, what we'll be doing, we'll have a first, second, and third place in each slot. Okay. And it will be lead credit. I'll have all that information. I'll have that out to Chris so he can have it out to everybody. Okay. And I'll have all that information together. So we'll have fun with it. We'll have fun with it. And what we'll do, and I'll let you know, Chris, on a weekly basis where everybody is and what the numbers look like too on that. And but we'll push it hard for the end of this week or the end of this month.
Cool. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Scott, for being on this morning. And again, congratulations. Excited, and I'm excited for the future. I mean, for this team, a lot of you don't really understand or know what that means for you guys from a standpoint of what Scott being at 110 is going to do for this team, because there are a lot of plans in place and plans being put in place. And we see it with other teams when, the top leader hits 110, that frees up their time and resources to turn around and pour back in to the downline, to put programs in place, to put, certain things in place to help you guys grow your businesses. And that's exciting. That's exciting, and the reason why Scott wanted to be on, I definitely wanted to have him on, is really just to kind of talk about that this is a great accomplishment for him, but it's a great accomplishment for the agency at large, and specifically for this team, and what that means moving forward. We've got we've got a great nucleus here. We've got a lot of momentum. But as with anything, again, any business is either growing or dying. There is no neutral business. Some businesses are slow growth or slow death, but you're either moving forward or you're not. And we've been moving forward, but we got to be very intentional about that process moving forward. So one of the things that we want to talk about this morning is, one of the things our message a lot of time is, to full-time people, go out there to crush the numbers, to make it happen, and that's all necessary. That is a necessary message. But too many times we overlook and maybe don't give enough of a message to our folks who are part-time. And I want to make sure that we clarify this morning, because we do have a lot of folks who started on a part-time basis, have other jobs, are working this. And guys, this is a great business to start out on a part-time basis. And this message is for not only those of you who are working part-time, but for those of you who are recruiting. I think too many times we're looking for that superstar, who's going to go out, write a ton of business. And don't get me wrong, all agencies need that. But if you look at the numbers, all agencies have a handful, maybe even just 2 or 3 people at the top, and the rest are people who are just kind of, from 1,000 AP up to, to 20,000 AP. Part of, the biggest part of that's going to be in that middle, and that's okay. If you're a part-time person, again, a lot of times our message is geared towards the trying to help people get to that next level. But if you're a part-timer here, we definitely want to, let you know that you're more than welcome. We want to help you. We want to support you. And really, we want to, moving forward, make sure that you guys are included in everything that we're doing and help you achieve your goals. As a part-time agent has a great opportunity to really help their family, even just with we talk about all the time in recruiting, an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month. How much impact would that have on a lot of families in this country today? And so that's why I want to talk about this briefly this morning. For those of you who are recruiting, hear this message very clearly. We can't discount those people who want to come into this thing part-time. In fact, we want to welcome them into this business, and we want to help them just as much as we are helping our full-time people. Because if we can get that part-time person to get them to a point where they're making steady income every month, even just $1,000 to $2,000 a month, if you get to that level where you're having that extra money in your budget, and you see that consistency, how much is it for you to take that jump to maybe double that, to go to $2,000 a month in income, or $4,000 a month, or $6,000, wherever they're at and they're performing. And guys, again, this is a phenomenal business, and one of the things, and hat tip here to Jeremiah for turning me on to something that Miranda Martin and her team is doing. In fact, he sent me a call last night that they had with Kyle Kimbrell, who's one of the top people in the company. He and Miranda are 110s in the company. But Kyle Kimbrell, in his first year, built a $6 million agency and did it all through warm market recruiting. Guys, he never placed a ZipRecruiter ad. He never placed a Craigslist ad. He only did it through warm market and people he came in contact with. His entire agency, $6 million. And if you don't understand what that is, we're about right now a $2 million agency. And I've been at this going on 4 years now, about 2.5, maybe 3 million. We'll have to look at the numbers here at the end of the year. But basically, we're about a $2 to $3 million agency in about 3.5 years. In his first year, he built a $6 million agency through a very simple strategy. And guys, this is something that we're going to be working on moving forward. And I'm just kind of rolling this out today. We're going to introduce the details next week on our call. But I wanted to get this seed planted in your mind, because we all literally have dollars laying around us in people that we come in contact with every day. And people, we don't even have to know them. It's one of the things that Kyle was talking about. He went into, I believe it was Sam's Club. He was telling the story. went to a Sam's Club, and there was a guy as he walking out that was trying to sell him on some type of, I won't say cleaning service or something like that. I don't remember the exact story, but he was impressed with this guy because he was persistent and he was very friendly, and he was very engaging. So he started talking to the guy. He started asking him some questions. Just, hey, you're pretty good at this. You must make a lot of money. And the guy's like, well, do okay. Everybody does okay, but nobody ever does, does phenomenal, does great. He's like, well, you probably love this job. You're out here. He's like, it's pretty tough. I got to be out here every day grinding it out. And he asked him a question. He's like, well, I mean, I'm sure, everybody you talk to is probably interested in what you're offering. He's like, no, 95% of the people tell me no right up front and walk away. But by doing that, he set the stage to just basically say, well, listen, if I could show you a way to make, to make an extra, 1,000 to 1,500 a month part time, I don't have, again, we're going to roll out the actual terminology, so don't hold me to what I'm saying here. But basically, he set the stage up to offer this guy the opportunity to come into this business. And he recruited him. And guys, it was a simple 3-step process that he did. And he built this agency, this $6 million agency, with this message of, hey, come into this thing, do it part-time. If you like it, if you like the money, we'll figure out a way to get you full-time. And the message was so simple, like I said, a 3-step process that it was ingenious. So from a recruiting standpoint, for those of you who want to build a team, guys, the lifeblood of our agency, the lifeblood of your growth in this business is we have to keep recruiting. We have to find new people to join us. But this is a business that everybody wants and needs. I mean, where else can you go in this country where you can, on a part-time basis, part-time, mind you, write 2 or 3 apps in a month and earn an extra 1,500 to 2,000. Guys, if you look at the median income numbers across the U.S., that's getting pretty dang close to what most people are making on an annual basis in a lot of areas. And it's unfortunate. And we've got a system that somebody could come in and do that on a part-time basis and really impact their family and their financial future, and help you grow an agency and grow a team of people who are excited about being part of that. Guys, that's huge. And that's something that, too many times I think a lot of people come in as, well, I want to figure it out. I want to become the expert. I want to do this. I want to do that. And all you're doing is robbing yourself of an agency and a business and robbing them of an opportunity to change their life and their financial future. Guess what? I'm not an expert in this business. Any of these people that call me, Jeremiah 911 me the other day. I had to laugh because I hadn't had 911 from him in probably 2 years. And he 911 me. But he hit me with a question, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I had to stop and think about it, guys, because I'm not the expert. I may be the guy leading the call today, but I'm just the guy who just kept sticking it out and add new people to the team. And I say that to say this: you don't have to learn everything about this business, become the pinnacle of knowledge in the insurance business to build a nice agency. I'm living proof of that. So this is where you guys have a real opportunity to impact other people, to bring them into a phenomenal business, even on a part-time basis, to have real impact on their family's finances and their future. And so, again, really, the reason I'm spending this time is I want to set the table, guys. We're missing out on a key factor of growth in our business. And the light bulb went off when I listened to that call the other day, or yesterday, that Jeremiah sent me. This is a great opportunity for all of you to really have some major impact. Think of this. Think if you just had 5 part-time people who were doing $1,500 a month in AP, okay? And those of you who are going out doing personal production, there's no reason that you can't get yourself up to 70%. Though that first and second tier, those bars are set pretty low. Okay, so you get yourself to 70%. You've got a team of just 5 people, part-timers, doing $1,500 a month issue paid. That's 7,500. Okay, guys, if you've got a 10% override on 7,500 a month, that's an extra 750 bucks passive income. Guys, look at your lead budget. How much are you spending on leads? Somebody said it earlier. What if I had my leads paid for? How much more profitable would I be in this business? How much easier would it be for me to go out and write more business, become more profitable, reinvest that back into my business, hire more people? Okay, so that message is again, a lot of times we gear our talks, and probably too much so, to trying to make everybody superstars, and we all want you there. I mean, we want to help you get there. We want everybody in this business to grow and continue moving up the ladder. But we also don't want to overlook that, hey, there's a lot of value in somebody who's coming into this business as a new person, and in needing just an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That's huge, guys. And so next week, tune in, get people here, get any new hires that you talk to, anybody that you're interviewing, get them on the call next week, guys. Pack this call out, because we're going to go through the simplest. And I mean, and when Jeremiah said this to me, I was kind of banging my head. I'm like, man, we have way overcomplicated this process. The simplest 3-step process to recruit that you have ever heard of. It will involve the text or maybe a Facebook message. And that's it. That starts it. That's all it takes to start this process, guys. So tune in next week. Another thing that we're going to be doing next week, another little project that we're working on, I think is going to be highly valuable for all of us, is we're going to do a little training on these calls moving forward, a little Q&A. So as you're going throughout your week, you have things that you're running into. Guys, we've got top producers on this call right now. Jeremiah, qualified top producer. John Paul, qualified top producer, actually running for elite. Spencer Kushian, qualified top producer. We've got several who may have not hit that particular mark, but have consistently put in a lot of business. Guys, if you have things in this business that you're struggling with, come to these calls moving forward with some questions. We're going to do a little Q&A session and give you a chance to really interact with these folks. And a lot of times throughout the week, they work with their teams. You don't get a chance to interact with them. But if you have something that you're working on in the business that you want to throw out there, get some feedback on, appointment setting, on what they're doing in the home, how they're closing the deals, how we get business to stick, how we get business pushed through, all those things. Don't come with questions on specific cases like I've got a client with cancer of the toenail 20 years ago or whatever, guys. Those are calls that you've got to make to the underwriters. This is about the business and the process. So come to that call next week with any questions that you have. Jeremiah, you've got something you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to add to the reason we started using Zoom is so that we're in a virtual conference room together, since we're all spread out in the country. So I would just encourage, we have 38 people on a call, but there's only 11 people on video, actually 10, including Chris and Scott. I'd encourage you to come prepared, get on video. This is the interaction is better, especially as we start going through questions and answers. I do understand sometimes that is not possible. We'd much rather you be on the call than not at all. But let's come prepared, get on video, be ready for some questions so we can really, this interaction, the whole point of Zoom is so that we can be together and not just hearing each other on a call. Conference calls are great, but there's a reason why we come in here. So just encourage it. Again, sometimes I know that's not possible. My wife asked me earlier, does she want me to put enough bedspread? I was like, no, don't worry about that. I don't care. As long as I'm here, we're focused, we're doing what we need to do. So just wanted to throw that out there. I was just looking through the thing and just really wanted to see more of these people's pretty faces.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, Jeremiah. And you read my mind, because that is something, guys, in this training, you know, we look at what Giant teaches on training, the different levels, and phone call or verbal that's effective, but not nearly as effective as face-to-face. And that's why we do the Zoom call. Ideally, we would all be in the same room together, working together, but obviously we're all over the country, so that's not feasible. The next best thing is a Zoom call. And there's a lot that is picked up or lost in communication by seeing and watching movement. So, and this is very crucial, especially if you have a question about the in-home process. Guys, nonverbals are huge. They are one of the biggest things that is overlooked in a sales interaction. Because a lot of times you could be saying all the right things, but your nonverbals are sending off all the wrong messages. Okay, and we've had that conversation with some of the top producers on the team. They get that, and that's why they produce at the levels that they do. So this is an opportunity for you to learn from these folks. So come next week, if there's an area in the business that you're struggling with, that you want to pick the brains of the best of the best, this is going to be your opportunity. And I'm excited about that, because I think it's going to be a huge chance for people to really grow and go to that next level. Wherever your level is at right now, take that step and go to the next level. Last thing, guys, we're going to wrap up the call here. We're coming up close to the top of the hour. Announcements. Guys, the cruise. Get on the cruise. Get the boat. Don't miss the Love Boat. This is going to be huge. Guys, I know you probably get tired of hearing me say this every week, but when I look at the numbers of people signed up, I have to say it every week, because some of you aren't hitting the done button. And the problem is, the closer you get to cruise time, the harder it gets to hit the done button. So hit the done button, get on. And there's some great payment plans out there that they've got. This is, I cannot tell you, I think this conference, and every one of them has been better than the last. But this one is going to be so unique, because again, we are all going to be in one venue. It's all going to be symmetry. I mean, we're not going to be around other people. We're not going to be in a hotel with other people that, when we're hanging out at the restaurants or the bars or whatever, and you've got other people that you don't know if they are symmetry or not. Guys, everybody there is going to be symmetry. And you're going to have all the top producers, all the top agencies, all the top people in the business, people who can really speak into your business, and an opportunity to interact with them one-on-one. And again, this is just going to be such a unique opportunity to be on a luxury ship with all these people, have an opportunity to hang out, get involved with some of the events and things that will be going on the ship. Think about, doing, I don't even know what all, doing the surfing with, one of the top, top people in the company. I'm just thinking of all these things that are going to be so unique from a past conference, where it's all been about the business suits and the meetings and the overviews and all this. I mean, we're going to have a lot of that stuff and a lot of the interaction, but this is going to be unique opportunity for you to really connect with those top people one-on-one. Okay. So guys,
Chris,
yes.
Can I jump in on that if you don't
Oh,
mind?
absolutely. Please do.
Think about it this way, folks. What we do here is we always want to, invest in our business. That's what we do. And, I'm going to just throw this out there. How many of you have ever went to see someone speak? You may have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to see that. Okay. Think of it this way. What if you got the top 5, top 6, maybe top 7 speakers in the country, got them all in one room, What do you think that cost would be in a few hours? Thousands of dollars? I mean, I can't imagine. Think this way, folks. You're going to get on a ship in beautiful weather, having fun, and you're going to be with the top people in this company for days. What is the cost of that? I mean, to me, the cost is how you're going to improve your business. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, the cost of what it gets on the cruise, and to be able to have someone like Julie sitting there talking to maybe like, I don't know, anybody like, you know, Ed Pritchett. She might have a 25-minute conversation with him about how he runs his business. Brian Delaney. 20 minutes, guys. What is that worth? And you got him right there in a natural setting, laid back. You're not sitting there in a theater listening to a guy talking. You've got a one-on-one with this person. Or even if you're brand new, just having time with your own mentor, Chris Menifee. What is that worth? And to me, I think, I thought to myself, my gosh, I'm going to be on a ship with everybody I know, with massive, I mean, the best of the best for 4 or 5 days. I mean, if you want to really do well here and you really want to invest in your business, that's the way to go, guys. I'm telling you. Hey, conference is great. And I hear this all the time, Chris. I know you do. We're at conference and everyone goes, boy, I wish we had another day of this. Yeah, I wish it was only 2 days. I wish it was 3. I wish the third day was just no meetings, but we all get together. We just got your wish, but you got it for 4 or 5 days. Okay? And I'm telling you, I really struggle when I have people that when we have conference, you know, just to get a fly there, stay in a hotel, share a hotel if you have to, you know, get there, and 80% of your business and your training, everything is right there. I mean, it's right there. And you got the best of the best on a team up there on stage, giving you the best advice they can give you, yet now you're going to be one-on-one with them. I mean, if you're not there, and please have fun, of course, but if you're not there plucking out different people and having conversations with them, if I've got Jeremiah and he's like, Scott, I'm having just a struggle with this or that with my business or whatever, and he goes in there and he talks to like a Brian Delaney or a anybody, Ashley Tarr, and she tunes him, or just 2 minutes of maybe she says to him that could change his life, I think it'd be worth the time and the money to go there. So sorry for jumping in, Chris, but to me, it's investing in your business. I truly mean that.
No, that's a great point. And it comes back to, you know, you look at like a Tony Robbins seminar or something like that. People spend 10 grand to go to those for a week long. Grant Cardone, any of those top level speakers. And honestly, you know, we've got people in this company that are that caliber of speakers and trainers. And you get the opportunity to go hang out with them, not just, you know, where they're speaking from stage, like you said, Scott, but also that, you know, we're hanging out with them. And think in this term, you know, we talked about here, Sean Shannon had a great point at our last conference, that if you want to earn $250,000 a year, that's $125 an hour. And what are the habits that you're doing? What are your $125 an hour habits, or are they $125 an hour habits? You know, if you want to get to that level, you got to change your level of thinking, operation, everything that you do. If you're still operating at your $10, $15 an hour habits that you've always operated in the past, that's where you're always going to be in the future. You've got to change, and part of that change is you got to invest in yourself. Everybody, you have one more thing to add?
Yeah. Obviously, if you're building, get your agents and get them on there, but invite your family and friends. I mean, guys, they announced, I don't remember, I know for me, agency owner and above, it was 10. You can get your cabin for free. I know it was less than that for others.
Jupiter and below, it's 5 people.
Yeah.
You only have to get 5 other people, 5 other cabins sold on the boat, and your room's free.
I just shared the video that Symmetry put out on it, and just mentioned that I have some discounts for family and friends and approximate cost. And I already got one person messaging me interested in it, and I sent her the stuff. You know, it's just, look, it's literally, I went in just to see, like on a 2-person cabin. It's on a 2-person cabin. It's like $600 a piece, and you can go up to I think 3.5 or 4, and it gets down all the way to less than $500 a piece for a 5-day 4-night cruise on the world's largest cruise ship. And it's only going to be us. You know, I mean, it's like, it's a no-brainer. So just share it up. Let people know what you do. Let people know, hey, I've got some discounts if you want a cheap cruise. You know, I wouldn't say cheap. I'd say I got a discount on an awesome cruise. You know, so but yeah. Anyway, that's it. Love the call today. Appreciate it. I'm ready to get on the phones.
Awesome. Yeah, let's wrap it up. We're top of the hour. Let's jump off here and get on with the day. I know a lot of you wanting to hit the phones and get a big week. Again, 2 weeks left in November, guys. Plenty of time to make up some numbers. If you're running short on numbers, or you got 2 full weeks left. If you're on pace, then go ahead and blow the numbers out. Pass it up. You know, there's no law that says you have to stop when you hit your promotion level. Go ahead and add some extra numbers in there and get paid the extra money. So, all right, guys. Hey, appreciate everybody being on. Do come next week ready. We're going to have a ton of training, a ton of new stuff, question and answer, exciting call. I am pumped up for it. So be ready. Come join us next week. Appreciate it. See you all.